Welcome to our IndoGerman live talk and a very warm welcome to Huma Qureshi, live from Mumbai. Hi, Uma.
Hi Stephen. Hi guys. How are you guys doing? Hi
All is well.
Raman.
All is well. I would like to introduce my co-host from Radio Apna, Frankfurt. This is Raman Deep Jaswal. Hello, Raman.
Hi, Stefan. Hi, Umaji, and thank you very much for taking out the time and joining us.
Of
It's our
course, thank you
pleasure.
for having me. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Stefan, for making this happen.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So it's I'm live from Berlin. Raman is live from Frankfurt. You're live from Mumbai. That is really exciting. Raman, you have a first question, I guess.
Yeah. So let's start with the first question, Umaji. So Huma Qureshi.
Call me Huma. Please don't
Okay.
call me Huma Ji. It sounds like so formal, huh?
Okay, I'll call you Huma. So Huma Qureshi, a well-known name in Bollywood, one of the most famous Bollywood actresses today. Born in Delhi on 28th of July. I'm not talking about the year at all. Yeah, so 28th of July. In a family that owns a chain of restaurants. Completed her bachelor's degree in history with honors from the Gagi College, University of Delhi. And now a famous Bollywood actress. Well, when one hears bachelor's in history with honors, I mean, one would expect to see you as a doctor in history, giving some lectures to some people, talking about famous historical characters. But now you are one of the prime names forming the future of Bollywood. Key question, how did it happen? I mean, how Bollywood?
No, I still give lectures whenever I get an opportunity.
I would like to see that someday.
That's not really stopped. So the lecture bazi has not really stopped. But I think some things it's just destiny. When I was growing up, I grew up in a fairly middle class home in New Delhi. My father is a restaurant owner. My mother's a housewife. For me, like I was always big on academics, so glamour or Bollywood or performing arts was not really so important. But yes, while growing up in school, I was one of those students. I was always part of all extracurricular activities, debating, dramatics. I used to play basketball, so I was always like a very outgoing student. But I don't know, somehow I think when I came to Gargi College, it's like I spent more time in the dramatic society and doing plays and doing workshops than in actually attending my history honors lessons. I hope my professors from back in the day are not watching this. They'll be very upset with me, but that is a fact. So I think when I was in Gargi and I started doing a lot of like amateur theatre, started doing semi-professional, professional theatre, it just happened very quickly for me. And that's when I realized that being on stage or performing is what really drives me. It gives me that little kick, as they say.
Yeah.
So, and then I started auditioning because a lot of films from Bombay, they come to Delhi to pick up actors and they test them out. So I started doing those and I started getting callbacks. So that's when I really thought, oh, I must be doing something good because, they're calling me back. And yeah, I guess that's how it really happened. I think once the germ of the idea is there as an actor, then it just keeps growing, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I would say lucky for us that we got to see such a brilliant actress on the big screen and who is entertaining us across the world. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Let's move to the next question now. I mean, before you stepped into Bollywood, you have been part of small screen television for a while. And that too with some very well-known names like Amir Khan, if you remember the Samsung Guru advertisement, and also with the legendary SRK for the Nerolac advertisement, right? And somewhere you also mentioned in one of the interviews saying that advertisement with Shah Rukh Khan was the highlight of your life.
Yeah.
Now, how did you manage to catch up with such big names in Bollywood, even before stepping into Bollywood?
Yeah, ऐसा होता नहीं है. So, when I moved to Bombay, I wasn't sure because in 2010, the industry wasn't so structured. So I didn't know how to go about it. I had no friends, I had no family. I didn't grow up in Mumbai. I was a Delhi girl. So for me, it was a big cultural shift. It was a different city I was coming to. So for me, it was about orienting myself to a new way of life and a new way of working. So I would, like any other struggler, would take my bag, my little tiffin box and, my snack for the day and my water bottle and my 2 changes. And I would go for auditions like everybody else. So I really have ended up doing 5 auditions in a day. So I've literally come up the ladder, as they say. So, and many times people were nice to me. So many times people were not nice to me. They were rude to me. And, And I was not really used to it, coming from Delhi and a certain culture. I always felt like, but why are people being rude to you? Because you're just going there, auditioning or asking for work. That doesn't give people the right to misbehave with you in a certain way. And I still was one of the bratty ones, so I would be like, you can't talk to me like this, and how dare you? And I would try to throw my whatever weight around. But it was an interesting journey. So because for me, like very early on, I met a lady called Amita Sehgal, who gave me a very crucial piece of advice. She said, you seem like you've done theater, you come from a certain family, you really are an actor, so for you the journey would be not to try and chase films, but try and do good ads and good commercials, and if you're good, then the films will come looking for you. And I think in my case those words were prophetic, because I started going for ad auditions, and I think within a year of me moving to Mumbai, I started doing a lot of like ad film work, and I not just with actors like of course Mr. Amir Khan and Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, but very big filmmakers like Sujit Sarkar, Pradeep Sarkar, Amit Sharma, Anurag Kashyap. All of them are very big directors today. So I ended up working on ad films that they were making. So I think I was, I guess, really stubborn about going every day. And no matter what happened, come hail, come storm, come thunder, I would go and I would put myself out there and I would audition. I think there's a culture in India where a lot of people think that by talking about the struggling process or talking about how they audition, it's not cool or it doesn't make you sound starry enough. But I think it's such an important part of being an actor. I also feel in a strange way, you feel like you've earned it. When you have to work so hard. So you've earned whatever success or whatever adulation comes your way. So I always like to talk about it. But I also don't like to, dwell too much over it, because I feel like it's not a dark part of my life as an actor. In fact, I really cherish it. Because I feel in a day I would end up going out and meeting so many more people. Today I feel I'm sitting at home and I'm waiting for scripts to come to me, as opposed to going out there and seeing what's happening. So I, in a strange way, I know it might sound very silly, I kind of miss it.
No, I think somewhere that when you achieve it, starting from the scratch as you did, I think it also makes you feel proud somewhere, right? That you have come up that ladder, you have seen all the phases, and you have made it there. I mean, kudos to your hard work and congratulations for making it here. And as I said, I mean, we are lucky as well for that. With that, I'll give back to Stefan. Stefan.
Yeah, and sounds a little bit like a recommendation to young students who also want to follow your path, just start with commercials, or because you learn all the big directors because they all do commercials. Okay, coming from the national to international, you started your career with a supporting role in Gangs of Wasseypur. Besides getting many awards for your acting in the movie, what has been the impact that Gangs of Wasseypur has been screened in the Directors' Fortnight in Cannes? What I mean is the impact for independent cinema from India, as well as the impact for your career in being exposed also to an international audience.
Well, I think Gangs of Wasseypur was my first film, my debut film, and I could not have asked for a better debut film. It's one of those rare films. I mean, of course, it's now part of Guardian's 100 most influential, memorable films, of this century, which itself is like a massive achievement. But I think Gangs was one of those films that had a big impact both in India as well as overseas. I remember when I saw the film for the first time, the whole film, both 1 and 2. I saw it in a theater in France because it was part of the Cannes Film Festival. And I remember watching it with like a predominantly white, predominantly French audience. And everybody was just like, and I always thought, Gangs of Wasseypur was such a colloquial film with such a specific humor about a certain place and the gangsters and what the politics and everything. Would people really get it? But I feel like cinema has such a universal language. If you connect with the emotion, you connect with the human drama, everybody gets it. And I saw that people, they just got it. And that for me was a big eye-opener. I think it was a huge part of my education as an actor. From my first film onwards, I really saw the impact that films could have both nationally as well as internationally. And, I was very apprehensive of doing a film like Gangs of Wasseypur. It had like this massive cast of 300 actors, and everyone was fairly new. Of course, all of them now have gone on to be such recognized and celebrated names, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Jaideep Alaba, Tucha Chadda. Everybody's like sort of come on their own. But we were all literally starting out, with Gangs of Wasseypur. So no experience, very fresh, very raw. we made that film like we were in college, you know, and it was just like a fun project and everybody's enthusiastic and, you know, it was made on like really like a shoestring budget, no money. We stayed in like not very nice hotels. I think Manoj Bajpayee was the only one who had a 5-star hotel. Nobody got like a 5-star hotel stay. There was no gym. So we would all I remember all of us, Nawaz, Vineet, Richa, all of us would get in one car and go to the nearby stadium. And in the evening, you know, after shoot, we try and do some running and stretching and try and get some workout in. So, but you know, I really have such lovely memories of that time. You know, such innocence and it was such like friendship and kinship. It was really beautiful. Yeah, it was really special. And so Gangs, you know, for me, I feel it was such a big learning influence. Like I didn't know the importance of that film, to be honest. I was too naive, and I don't think a film like that had come in India. So when my parents also asked me, "What are you shooting for? You know, you've been there forever, and what's going on?" I didn't have an answer to give them. I said, "It's something really cool and really interesting, but even I don't understand all of it. And we're shooting like 3 parts together or 2 parts together, maybe. I don't know. When it comes out, then you'll see." Because I really had no answers to give them. And I still remember when I took my family in Delhi to watch part 1, I had like 3 scenes in part 1, you know, but those 3 scenes really changed my life, I feel. I signed like 4 or 5 films after that, after part 1 released, you know, purely based on that. And especially that one famous scene that Nawaz and I did called the permission scene, where you're sitting and he touches my hand, and you know, it became like this iconic moment. Yeah. I did not anticipate it. I did not think it would happen. And I remember I was going for a reading a few months after one had released, and just before part 2 was releasing, and suddenly I see this massive hoarding of me and Nawazuddin at Juhu, and I'm like, what? I'm the lead in part 2? No one told me. Like, because that was not the mindset we were working, you know, on that film. We were just making a really cool film with a really cool bunch of ensemble actors, and that's how we approached it. But there was, like I said, there was so much innocence in it, but a massive learning curve. And I think since then, my ambition, my drive, my dream has to always work with good filmmakers and good scripts. I don't think I've ever chased stars. I've just chased good content. That's been my drive and passion.
One can see also on the selection of your films or the variety of your films. So all genres are with it, you know, comedy, black comedy, horror, thriller. Because I know from many actors.
Which one have you seen? Huh? Have you seen any of them?
Sure. I have seen Jolly LLB 2, for example. That was one of the movies we had at our IndoGerman Film Week. I have seen Viceroy's House. I didn't see your supernatural thriller Ekti Dayan. I have seen Dead Ishkia. I haven't seen Love Shoe. You have to help me.
Love Shavte Chicken Kurana.
I don't know. I really like that, but not many people have seen it. It's a sweet little film. I'm really personally really fond of it.
Yeah.
No, but
well done. It's a bit.
But my question is, you know, I think you can be lucky to that you have done such a barrier, because for many actors I know, they are complaining that, you know, once they have played, they have acted in a romantic comedy, for example, then they are always the romantic hero, yeah. Or if they acted in a crime, in a thriller, then they are always the gangman or whatever, you know. So, and that is really great that you have the opportunity to have that big variety. So my question is, again, also a little bit back to the international context. Do you see, is it any difference for you as an actress, the work in a film, for example, like the British Indian historical drama Viceroy's House? Does that make any difference if the film is financed independently, like you told us just how it was to shoot Gangs of Wasseypur? So how was it with Viceroy's House? How was it with Bollywood comedies? So are there any differences for you as an actress? Is that a different style, or does it impact your art of being an actress, of working?
No, I think my work as an actor is more or less the same. I think my process is still the same. I just have to put in the same amount of work and effort. It's not that if it's an independent film, I'll make less of an effort. It's a big budget film, I'll apply more effort. Though I think the only difference is in your hotel accommodation. Independent filmmakers don't have the luxury of large trailer vans and 5-star hotel stays and my full entourage. But a big budget film, yes, allows you all those luxuries. But I always consider myself an independent film actor. I call myself that. I call myself an independent film actor who's also done commercial films. That's how. I mean, that's who my soul is. Like everybody has a soul. The inner voice. I always be an indie actor. Yes, I mean, I've done commercial work. It's fun. Also because as a 90s child, I've grown up watching hardcore Bollywood romantic films, so I always wanted to do those. So whenever I get a chance, I do end up doing it just for fun. But I think the cinema that really moves me are more like dramatic stories, are more like, something with performances, something that I can really like try to do something new. So as an actor, for me, like to do the same thing over and over again would be death. Like I would be so bored. And also like I always consider myself a director's actor, which is why I need to work with people, who inspire me to do something else. Otherwise I can just get like bored and just do my lines and it wouldn't be fun to watch or to do. So I always try and push myself, as they say. Like I wouldn't want to just keep doing the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
Raman, next question is yours.
Yes. I mean, is it true that when Gangs of Wasseypur started, you were not aware of the entire script? You were not handed over the script when you started working on Gangs of Wasseypur. Is that really true?
It's absolutely true, and I want to put it on record that Anurag Kashyap cheated me and Piyush Mishra. He hid the fact that we could read the script, and the only two actors not allowed to read the script were me and Piyush Mishra. Also because he hadn't written our parts. Like Piyush Bhai also, he told Piyush Mishra, oh, just do it. It's a great part. You're not understanding it. Keep quiet. And I remember with me as well, he did the same thing where he was like, just shut up and do it. And I'm like, but I don't have any lines. In fact, all of Mohsina, my character's lines were all improvised on the day. So that was very scary because I was just like, if I don't have a role in it, don't cast me. Like I'll do something. I'm sure we'll do something else. Like, like I was so nervous. And I remember this one day I was in office and I'd gone for like a costume fitting. And I told Anurag, like, please, I really want to do films. And if my role is not really good, you're not letting me read it, then it's better if I don't do it. So he just said, shut up and do it. Just trust me. And then he called his sister, Anubhuti Kashyap, who's one of the, ADs on the film. And in front of the whole office, they started making fun of me, saying she wants to say no to our film. So I was like, that's not true. But yeah, and then Anubhuti was teasing me, saying that now we've made your clothes. It's too late now. The costume's been done. Now we can't replace you. So you got to do it. You're stuck now. So I was like, really? Like, I can't back out now? So they really had a good laugh at my expense, basically.
So, I mean, fun memories, I would say, right? With that, let's move to the next question now. I mean, you had no family connection with Bollywood, but have had a successful career in Bollywood. I mean, as they say, it's not easy to make a place for yourself in the cutthroat competitive world of Bollywood. So now, how difficult was the experience for you to get into Bollywood mainstream? And what would you like to tell the people who are now planning to get into Bollywood? How can they make it to this level?
I don't know, yeah. Sabka journey is very different. Everybody has very different, origins and journeys. So I don't think there's one size fit all formula to it. I think everybody has to chart their own path. Really, I always say you have to be true to yourself. Of course, in the last few years, a lot has been made of the nepotism debate. And they're both sides to the argument. I always say one thing that, of course, by having certain amount of access, being born to a certain family or people who are already connected with the film business, of course you have access to a lot more information, ideas, everything, but ultimately it's about what you do with it. Ultimately it's about your own hard work. And I feel like the biggest stars and the biggest superstars of our business, from not now but from time immemorial, have been outsiders or people who you refer to as outsiders even today. So what are we talking about? Is it hard? Yes, it is hard. It's hard for me as well as these so-called star kids You know, it's hard for everybody. Is it easier for somebody? It's like me saying, if I want to open a restaurant business, you know, my father and his friends would be really nice to me and would help me and, you know, hold my hand and help me take the first few baby steps. But that everybody does, you know, with their kids. Like if you could be like a farmer, you could be like a whatever, a doctor, you know, you'd want your kids to sort of, you know, take that profession forward or do something with it. But so I feel like a lot has been made out of this debate, and rightly so. I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, maybe I've been blessed, maybe I've been, you know, fortunate that I've got that opportunity, I've got that break, I've powered my way through. But for a lot of people, you know, that may not be the case, and the journey is harder. But I feel like the only thing that matters in the end is your talent and your hard work, and that nobody can take away from you. I think so. That's my 2 bits on the nepotism debate.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely your word reflects that you are a fighter, and that picture behind also reflects that attitude.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, and I'm going to quote you now.
Like a bee.
I'm going to quote you now. I have read in the recent days some really beautifully written some lines. It says, "My biggest fear is not failing, not losing, not trying hard and never winning. My
Yeah.
biggest fear it's dying mediocre. So hustle, my friends. Keep knocking on that door till it opens, or your sheer might break it down." And yes, I mean these words come from you, right?
Yes.
So with all the work done, I mean all the recognition in Bollywood and all the love of all the fans around the world, is Huma Qureshi satisfied with where she is today, or is there still a long mile to go?
I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I'm just inherently one of those restless people who is just never, I wouldn't say happy. I mean, I think I'm always happy, and I'm always like I like to be cheerful and joyous all the time. But I think I'm one of those people who always be restless. Like for me, I'm happiest when I feel hopeful or excited about something. You know, as human beings, I believe that whenever we're excited about a new film or traveling somewhere or doing something, you know, we're always most excited. So I always want to be, you know, like a kid, excited all the time. Like that's my biggest thing. So I don't think I'll ever settle down in the sense and be like, acha, theek hai, this much is enough or whatever. I think I'll always be like, you know, like a kid in a candy store just wanting to try everything.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Moving on to the next question now. I mean, after such a great success in Bollywood, came a brilliant TV series called Leila, released on Netflix, one of the most watched series on OTT platforms today. Now the question is, how did it happen? I mean, what was so convincing in Leila that you decided to come back to TV screen from the big screen experience?
I mean, I've not really done TV in that sense, and Netflix I feel like is such a massive player today in entertainment, you know, and I feel like both Amazon, Netflix, and all these new platforms, and of course in the US, whether it's Hulu, HBO, etc., they're really changing the way we are making and consuming entertainment and content. And I feel that for me as an actor is so much more exciting. You know, just the pure kind of stories they're telling, the access they have to the number of people globally that could be watching your work. You know, I think that has completely changed the landscape of storytelling. And for me, that is very, very exciting. For me to be able to do a piece of content that could be very India specific, but is actually region agnostic is so gratifying, you know. And I think that going forward is the way I think we will be. That's the way the world will be moving, you know, more and more. Especially like I feel post-COVID, when we have so much time to sit at home and think about it. You know, today I have watched shows from Germany and, you know, Russia and I don't know, France and you know, Mexico and all over the world. And I feel like it doesn't matter. There was this whole thing about, oh, people don't watch subtitle shows, but I don't think that's true anymore. So I think as an actor, as a creator, such exciting times, because you're no longer bound by conventional theatrical wisdom. Today, you can go out there and tell a story the way it needs to be told. Like in the Indian context, I would say it's not just about trying to, you know, do the whole, just make stories a particular way, but you can really experiment. Today, you have a Leila, you have a Delhi Crime, you know, you have a Sacred Games that are really breaking that barrier and are really becoming shows that an international audience is watching and getting to know. And I feel like that's the kind of content I want to be part of, this new wave, because this digital television is really here to stay,
Yeah.
you know.
Agree. And I mean, in the last interviews, we somewhere also talked about that the element of censorship, which somewhere stops you from telling the story the way you want to bring it out. I mean,
Right.
there is some level of censorship. I think the OTT platforms are now giving more independence to all the creators to bring the things out as they want it to be. So a completely new dimension, right?
As they should, as they should. I mean, of course, the only thing is that if you're making some graphic content or adult content, then children, of a certain age should not be watching it. That has to be monitored. But I believe after a certain point, you can't really, uh, this is interesting, right? Because under the garb of morality, we often try and stifle creative freedom. And I think that's something as a civilized society we need to be constantly watchful of. Like, what could be offensive to me may not be offensive to somebody else. So where do you really draw the line? And I feel as adults we should really have that choice and that freedom of making that decision yourself. Yes, of course, separate case for children, and I feel like till they are of a certain age, parents should have the authority, whatever, to monitor what they're watching and what they're consuming. And I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah. And I think it also goes in the line that powers and responsibilities, right? If it gives you more independence, you should bear the responsibility of also consuming
I'm
it
all
more
for
ethically.
self-censorship. I really am a bit like, you have to self-censor. I don't like the idea of like somebody telling you what can or cannot be watched. I feel that's a bit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stefan?
I think there has also been the discussion, in Germany and other countries, you have the, how do you say, for not a censor board, but you have a certificate, So is it good for children? Is it good for youth up to an age of 12? Or is it up to 16? Or is it only for adults? And that
Sure.
is what is done in Germany. So there is just a certification who should be the audience and who's not allowed to watch it because of maybe it's not good for children. And yeah, let's stay a little bit with Leila. I have a question also to the international impact or also to the feedback you got. So can you tell us a little bit about that? So because this is you're the main character in Leila, so I can't remember a scene you're not in Leila. I think you're in every scene, or is it? That's at least my expression. Also, it's a very complex story. That's always the interesting thing with those series. The same with Dark. I know that many Indians are big fans of the German TV series Dark, but Dark as well as Leila are complex because with Dark I felt that I needed 6 episodes after I was really in, and it was like a drug, And with Leila, it's a little similar. It needs it a little time, but when you're in, then it's like a drug. Then you want to watch it for hours more, So my question is, yeah, what were the feedback you have got, and have you got already offers for new series or something you can tell us?
Well, Leila has been one of the most satisfying and the most difficult experiences of my life as an actor. When I signed up for Leila, I remember, I got a call from Open Air's office. That's a company run by Priya Wasim, who are the producers of Leila. And they said, Deepa Mehta is directing the show and she'd like to meet you. So I went and met her, and they sent me the Bible and I read it, and I was like, wow, somebody's making this kind of content, in India. Because before that, unfortunately, digital television is still known as, web series in India. It's sort of like positioned as YouTube videos or whatever, which is clearly not the case. So when I went and met her and I read the Bible, I was very fascinated, and I knew this was something instinctively I wanted to be a part of. Of course, being a huge fan of Deepa Mehta's. And so when we started work on Leila, I knew it was something, it's a slow burn. It's not one of those shows that just get you in and it's a thriller or something's happening. So it's a slow burn, but yes, once you get hooked onto it, it just opens another dimension, So yes, the feedback has been very, very heartening. I think most people, you know, uh, either love it because they feel like, oh my God, it's so real and it's like so close to home, or they hate it because it's so real and so close to home. So it's been a very polarizing view in that sense. Like for a lot of people, it makes them very uncomfortable because they feel like, oh my God, this is stuff that we hear about in terms of censorship, in terms of what's going on, in terms of dividing people, in terms of, all those ideas, like with Trump's Muslim ban and, building walls and all of that. These are very similar ideas you see in the world around you. So for a lot of people, made them extremely uncomfortable. But that's what the whole point was. That was the whole point of making a show like Leila. But I think for me as an actor, yes, you're right. I was literally there in every scene. I was not there in 2 scenes. I remember. I had half a day off, so I was not there in 2 scenes. But apart from that, I was there, in each and every scene. And I feel like playing Shalini, playing that character really transformed me as a person. It really made me stronger, made me more sure of myself, just empowered me, And I think as a character, I went through so much that happened, that I really, at some point, I started really being that character. And whenever we would have like a creative discussion, I would be like, no, Shalini would not do this. I know her. I live her. You know what I mean? It's like I had internalized it completely. So for me, it will always be one of those really special experiences in my life. I will really look at it extremely fondly.
Yeah. I mean, one question, and it might be a mean question from my side, but I really want to ask this. Yeah. Now, if a German person now wants to basically know Huma Qureshi as an actress, which one movie will you pick from yours that you will say, yeah, this is the one in which my performance is something with which he should start watching you?
I don't know. That's hard. You guys should tell me. What do you think?
I have an answer for that in my mind, but I want to know your perspective.
I want to know your answer first. Let's see if it's the same answer or not.
For me, it's Love Shavte Chicken Kurana.
Really nice. Yes. Sifar, which one is it for you?
I like Leila really a lot. I have to say that it was hard in the beginning. The 2 first episodes was really hard to follow everything and so on, and it was. But the reason I had to watch it to the end was that we had that interview today. So
you had the what?
I had to watch it because we have the interview today. So I had to. No, but then it's it was the same with Dark. Dark I was watching because I'm on the board of German Academy of Television. I had to watch it also because it was nominated for a lot of awards at the Academy. And so I thought, okay, if I really want to judge or want to say something about it, I have to watch it till the end. And with Dark, it was like after 4 episodes, I was thinking, okay, should I really watch till the end? But then from the 7th episode onwards, it was really so catchy that I wanted to have the 2nd season, but the 2nd season was not done at that moment, And no, Leila would it be for me. It's really a great piece of work, and it's so complex, and the complexity you get only after a time. I would say maybe from 3rd episode, 4th episode onwards, you realize, okay, that's the secret police, and then this and this, and then everything assembles together, and it makes sense in the end.
Yeah. I mean, for me, close was Ded Ishqiya too, by the way. Yeah. I loved your work in Ded Ishqiya too. But now back to you, Huma. Which is your choice?
I'm not falling for that one. Next question.
All right.
You can take your pick A, B, or C. Next question.
Okay. Will it be easier if we say 3 instead of 1?
No, I mean, okay, to be honest, I think Gangs of Wasseypur will always be special because my first film, and first film, the experience is very different. Leila, I think because it was so hard for me to do as an actor, I really thought I had to really do something else, internalize the character a lot. And yes, I do love Ded Ishqiya a lot because, I love working with Abhishek Chaubey and I really liked my character in it. And I thought it was so fun and so different. But I also these 3, I would say. These 3.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. Well, one key question now to you. With so many fans in Germany and including me, when will we get to meet Huma Qureshi in Germany now? Any plans of visiting us anytime soon?
As soon as they open everything, Stefan is sending me a ticket and he's inviting me to the next festival, which is going to happen where?
So
In Berlin?
the next festival will happen from 24th to 30th of September. So if you would like to come, the invitation is there.
I'm in fact
So-
going to be in Glasgow in the month of August. I'm shooting a film there. So I think after that I can just hop over and come to Berlin.
Yeah, please let's keep in touch, and then definitely I will talk to the Netflix people if we can screen all Leila episodes and all the
That
other
would be
films.
amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Because it's quite crazy in Germany. We had also quite success in the cinema with, for example, this Scorsese film, which was done for Netflix. So we have started to screen it on the big screen before it was out, but then even when it was out on Netflix, even people came in masses, to watch the film. That was really amazing. And so that is, and also I think Netflix realized that it's also good for their image if it's running in selected theaters, because then it's something. It's how can I say? It's like an award for what they do, for their work and for your work, definitely. Uma, Corona is infecting all of us and is also affecting the Bollywood film industry heavily. So you have managed to start some online activities. Would you like to share your experience with us? So what have you done?
Online activity.
So online, you have done. I think you have done some online things on your channel. Am I
YouTube
wrong?
channel?
YouTube?
Yeah, so I basically started this YouTube channel, which was basically talking about mental health, and it's like a big thing. And I feel like post-COVID, it's something that we all have to deal with, we shot a couple of episodes that we still haven't released them, to be honest, because I think the day it happened, we lost a very dear friend and colleague to depression. So we've delayed it by a few weeks. I don't think I'm still ready to talk about it, but I think it'll be out soon.
Okay, great.
Uh,
Raman?
Yeah. So, Huma, what are the next projects that we can look forward to?
Well, in August, I'm starting Bell Bottom, so I'm excited about that. I think it'll be the first film out of India that we'll be shooting, in Glasgow. So really excited about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Stefan?
Yeah, I don't know if we have some questions from the audience. I will just ask them to put their questions in a question and answer field, with it down the line, or FNR in Germany. But if there are no questions, then I don't know. You any questions left, Raman?
I mean, no questions as such from my list.
Yeah. How's the weather in Mumbai? Still heavy. Sorry?
It's raining like crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a monsoon season there at the moment, right? And
yes.
Yeah, it is. No, I think from my side, all the planned questions I've asked. So, Stefan.
Okay, I don't see any question from the audience. Then, okay, as I said, the invitation is there, Uma. So we please
there is one.
There's
we
one.
will stay in touch.
There's
one
one question.
Let me see. Matthias Schwerbrook is asking, how was it working with Anurag Kashyap?
Hi, Matthias. It was lovely working with Anurag Kashyap. He's fantastic. And I love working on Gangs of Wasseypur. We spoke a lot about Gangs of Wasseypur. I mean, of course, he's the father of independent cinema in India, I guess. He'll hate me for saying this, but that's the thing. But yeah, it was wonderful working with him, and I got to learn a lot.
There is another one in the chat now.
Yeah, and then Raghava is asking, can we see the roles again like that Ishkia and Gangs of Wasseypur? Love to see those roles by Huma. You're looking pretty cool.
Thank you so much, Raghav. K. I'll try and make you proud and keep doing similar roles. But as an actor, I'm dependent on my directors and writers to write great parts for me. So I'm waiting for them to come to me. So you should tell them.
Yeah.
And
Matthias has another question saying, how is it working with SRK?
Mhm.
Matthias, what is this question? I'm not going to say it was bad or it was terrible. How can it not be but amazing to work with SRK? I mean, I'm joking. I'm just joking. But on a serious note, he was wonderful, very charming, very sweet. I worked with him also, like you have to understand, when I was not an established actor. I was just a model, and he was so kind to everybody. And I think for me, like, he's the epitome of a superstar, because I think whoever he interacts with, he touches them in a very, very beautiful way and a very real way. So yeah, it was wonderful knowing him and working with him.
So if you have any questions to Matthias, you can ask also, for example, how is shooting in Germany or in Europe, because Matthias is doing a lot of co-productions and line producing.
Is this Matthias, my friend? Matthias? No.
I don't
From
know.
out of your bed?
Here it says it's Matthias Schwerbrook, but maybe there's somebody else behind the name. I can't verify that.
Matthias? Is it you?
I can
don't know.
bring him.
The
Yeah,
co-producer of Dawn 2.
Oh, hi, I've met him, of course. How are you doing?
I can bring him in. Let me see.
Yeah, bring him in. I met him like many years ago for lunch one day in Berlin.
Let me see. I wanted to
Yeah,
bring him
he's in the
but
call.
We can't see him. People we don't see, we don't trust.
Let me check. Oh, he is okay. Matthias, you have to start your camera, then you're in.
Matthias, you have to.
Otherwise, you can't see you.
Yeah, we don't trust people we can't see.
Ah, now. Hi, Matthias.
Hi, Matthias.
We can't hear you, Matthias.
But you're not on mute. Say something.
Your audio is not connected, I guess.
Your audio is not connected, yeah. Why ever?
There's a mute button on the left-hand side.
It doesn't say that it's on mute. I have no idea why the audio is not there. Maybe there's some problem with the audio of his laptop.
They're trying to suppress your voice.
Okay, I can't do anything about it. But you're looking very nice, Matthias, as always.
I'm going to sign off right now. Thank you so much.
Huma, you have to go to your next chat. Thank you so much for being with us.
I do.
And,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Raman, for being our co-host. Thank you, Matthias, for joining us.
The guest appearance, the silent guest appearance.
Yeah. And thank you from my side, Huma, for taking out the time, from the entire team of Radio Apna Frankfurt as well. Thanks a lot to you. And it's really a pleasure having talked to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are wonderful. We should do this again soon, maybe in person. All right. Take
Okay.
care. Stay safe.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.